So welcome to the third mini course of the Orthodox channel by Morgan. So we are going to continue with a series of mini courses. So we already talked about, as you know, cultural intelligence, language as soft power, cultural worldviews. So every topic is connected with what we are going to be discussing today. So we are going to talk about intercultural dialogue. So because after cultural worldviews, especially after understanding how to integrate the cultural worldviews, we need to see, of course, how we can establish effective dialogue between cultures. So intercultural dialogue is quite an evident topic or concept. It is basically how you interact and how you establish a dialogue with someone from a different culture, a different language, a different perspective, and of course it is a dialogue that is established for a specific goal. So in this case we are going to see first the notion of communication, of intracultural communication. So in intracultural communication we see something interesting, is that everyone deals with the same cultural and historical references, the same code, the same language, the same habits. So it is seamless, it is frictionless. Not saying it's perfect, but in terms of how it is developed, it is seamless, right? But what happens in intercultural communication? Well, that's completely different. We find a series of challenges in the intercultural dialogue that need to be addressed. So we talk about first, of course, the linguistic challenges. If we are dealing with different languages, well, that's where translation and interpreting comes in, and well, we find different interlinguistic solutions. We also have challenges in terms of cultural and historical backgrounds, and these this is a type of challenge that can be heavy, especially if we are dealing with cultures and countries that clash, that have a complicated history between them, and yeah, I remember when I talked about not dealing with spicy topics. Well, here we deal with spicy topics, but in order to find solutions. We also have deal with communication styles, so indirect style, or direct styles. We also deal with a specific type of challenge, which is the cognitive load management. A good example for this is, since you know my native language is Spanish, I'm a Latino. You can see in my English that I have a highly dense delivery, and that's because as a Hispanic people tend to speak fast, speak a lot, and give a lot of information. So that's what I have to deal with. That's what you see in my videos. So that's one thing. So we see these challenges as roots of disagreement. But before talking about the roots of disagreement, let's talk about the possible solutions we have. So remember, intercultural dialogue is meant for specific goals, such as negotiation, diplomacy, the finding solutions to specific problems. And so in this case, what we need to do is, of course, being culturally intelligent, understanding the other, understanding how the other understands, and of course using our language strategically, using our cultural worldviews strategically. So in addition to all of this, we have the possibility of establishing frameworks for intercultural dialogue. So in order to construct the specific frameworks for intercultural dialogue, we have to deal first with the roots of disagreement. So as I said previously, the roots of disagreement in this case are going to be the challenges such as the culture, the history, the language, the communication style, and the cognitive load management. So, what you need to do if you are dealing with negotiation at the international level, if you are dealing with uh, diplomacy situations, if you are dealing simply with with international contexts, you have to build your communication style, and you have to build your communication strategy in uh, taking into account these challenges in order to build a framework or a strategy to deal with these roots of disagreement. So, in order to identify the specific challenges to your situation, well, you start by analyzing your own culture, your relationship with the target culture, and what happens historically, culturally, cognitively, linguistically, and also in terms of communication style with the other culture. Study that, analyze that, and then you proceed to establish a strategy for communication. So, that's for dealing with the roots of disagreement, and of course, language here is very important. So, we have to deal with the weight of words. The way words are used, how they are deployed, when and why is very important for every language. So your mission as a multilingual agent or someone who is going to deal with a different cultural arena is to understand this, understand how words are used, how, when, and why, and proceed from that. So for this, you need to master the language. You need to be very, very good at the target language and understand the intricacies and the nuances that make us a message or even a word sound differently according to the context. So think about that. Think about how words are used. See how words are used, and do the same. But also remember, if you take into account the previous mini course about the integration of cultural worldviews, what you do is you use the fuel of the positive traits of your source culture in order to shape a different and more interesting message. So that's what you do as well. So intercultural dialogue takes this into account because it is the way you can reflect your culture best, and the way you can add something positive to the dialogue. So you have to deal with the weight of words, deal with the roots of disagreement, and of course understand the different types of challenges in intercultural communication. Remember that communication is basically agreeing on things, and when we are dealing with different cultures, we have to learn how to agree. We have to learn how the other interprets, and we have to make our interpretation of the world visible to others. So it requires an extra effort, and it requires a vision that goes beyond communicating the way we usually do. Because the way we speak, the way we talk to other people in our language is one thing, is natural, is seamless, it is what comes naturally to us. But in the case of intercultural communication, what you do is that you start from the framework I mentioned, and you find the right solutions. And also remember that in this case, um, communication is framed anyway. You're dealing with with objectives, with goals, with solution seeking, negotiation, contracts, diplomacy. So everything is framed already anyway. However, what why this type of framework is important? Well, because we are very used to established frameworks, which of course they work, and they are good, they are effective. but we are dealing with a world that changes. We are dealing with a world that evolves through the digital, through the connection of cultures and so on. So what counts nowadays is not the brute force of square solutions. What we need nowadays is the finesse of the different distribution of our, let's say, the finesse in the distribution of our message. That's what matters now. And I say this also because technology is advancing, and you know, let's say that it is bringing us closer in some way, but in some other way, it is flattening everything. But communication is not meant to be frictionless. The human experience is not meant to be frictionless, seamless, especially between cultures. So be someone who is aware of that if you want to understand the other and you want to be understood by the other. It is very important nowadays because, as I said previously, we have a series of challenges that are there because naturally they are there. So build the framework that is required for you to establish an effective intercultural dialogue, and remember to be culturally intelligent. Remember to use language strategically, and remember that I think this is crucial here, to integrate the cultural worldviews, because the world is doing that on its own anyway, with the connection of cultures. So that's it. So that's it for the mini course of today. A bit shorter than the others, but I think the idea is there. So I work from that framework, and there will be a last mini course on this series dealing with with the technological shift due to AI and so on. So see you for that one, and see you next time.